Welcome to the 146th episode of News Dump, where we run through the hottest topics in the Lewis County news scene and discuss. I'm local man Aaron VanTuyl, joined tonight by Chronicle Editor-in-Chief Eric Schwartz and Chronicle Assistant Editor Isabel Vander Stoep. And we're joined in spirit by sponsors Summit Funding and The Roof Doctor. And let me be the first to say, happy graduation to all who celebrate. Thoughts?
Yeah, we had a lot of more photos than we've ever had in the paper.
So many graduation photos.
12 graduations that were attended. 13 now. 14 maybe.
Yesterday was
will be 14.
Mossy Rock. Yeah, Mossy Rock Academy, and then tonight I think is Futurist.
We'll share those photos from Mossy Rock Academy. It was a class of two that they held a ceremony for. Jared went out there and took photos. I think we're going to hit them all this year.
Yeah, we're trying to hit all the alternative schools as well as the main high schools. So I feel like that nearly doubles the amount that we would normally do.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's like not as many kids, like going out to do this stuff is kind of the biggest burden. But once you're out there, like all of us were, including the sports team, was taking pictures at graduations this last summer, and this last weekend. And I think we all had like fun doing it. I mean, you get to see the kids talk about their lives and everything.
Unfortunately for future staffs, this is just going to have to be a tradition now. Jared started it by doing almost all of them by himself 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then we continued it last year, I think, with a little bit of help. And then this year we split it up a little bit. I think before then, Aaron, you could correct me as a former education reporter, we normally would just hit Chehalis and WF West, right?
Yeah, we just send photographers out there to get shots. Well, Chehalis' was always Friday, and so for the Friday night paper or the Saturday morning paper, we'd lead with WF West, and then the next Monday's paper would be Centralia graduation, I think. Or maybe it was
the other way around.
The other way around,
because I think usually WF West, well, at least as long as I've known them to do it, which has been since like before 2010. I think it's always been a Saturday.
Yeah.
Does this inspire you, Aaron, to perhaps return to Adna High School and get that diploma?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Once and for all.
I'm thinking about going back, and
We'd come support you.
Just Billy Madison my way through graduation at Adna.
I wanted to talk about this a little bit. Just the decision to like make the whole paper very focused on the graduations, and despite like the weekend being very newsworthy, which we'll get to, but I almost like wrote a long post on Facebook, and then I was like, nah, like we can just talk about it on here. But do you want to talk a little bit about like your reasoning that you said to me? Because I thought it was really nice.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about the Nazis in a bit here, but there was some debate.
There was Nazis?
Not real Nazis. Yeah. As I told you, the Nazis took Europe. These people couldn't take the Pine Street Market from a Pride Festival. So it's I don't know if I bestow that on them. But yeah, we briefly discussed it, and I just thought this is a rare opportunity to put every community on the front page. Not everyone, because like Winlock still has their graduation, and there's a few others, but I don't know, 90% of them, 70, 80%, something like that, all on the front page on one day. I thought that was a lot cooler than a bunch of
clowns.
Clowns, yes, into town.
I thought that was a really good way to think about it, because we do so rarely get to like touch so many communities at once across our coverage area, like literally east to west. And then I was talking to Jared about it too, and he was just like, the main thing that those people want is to get publicity and recognition, and to like make the focus of these kinds of events all on them. And he was like, I don't want to give them that. And I thought that was a good way to think about it. Like, it's obviously newsworthy, but instead of having it out front like I had suggested originally. So that was good.
Yeah. Shall we get to the news?
Let's get to the news.
First item, treacherous landscape of killer trees complicates the Iron Creek fire. I don't know if this fire is still going on. Maybe it's been put out.
It's contained as of yesterday, but not put out. It's still burning, smoldering.
I just like the headline. I thought this was the new Martin Scorsese movie for a second.
I love the headline too. I wish I could take credit for it, but that's an Isabel joint right there.
It was nice. Anyway, yeah, fire's contained, so pay it no heed.
It was a weird fire, Isabel. Like you guys went out to it into the campground, and you don't really see any flames, so it's like all smoldering underneath, like root systems or what?
Well, the main reason you don't see flames in the photos is because they wouldn't let us get near them.
Oh, I see.
Like, and I'm not trying to be a jerk. Like, the people who are working on these fires, obviously, safety is 100% their number one priority. But it is a little bit of a bummer, especially like the PIO. He had a degree in journalism and was talking to us afterwards, and he was like, I thought they were really strict with you guys. I wish they would have let you go in there and like whatever. But there was some flame, especially it sounds like the first 2 days. We got a couple reader submitted photos that were really smoky, and then slowly kind of got more smoldery, and then it sounds like it was just kind of burning up a lot of the dry brush. Maybe in the first 2 days it was climbing trees a little bit and then raining down, and that's how it was spreading. But then once they got to like cutting down a lot of the trees and mopping up, it sounded like they were just mostly trying to keep it within the natural boundaries of the creek and the river and the road, and they successfully did that. It's a bummer for Iron Creek Campground that probably won't be open in a long time, but no one was hurt, and that's awesome.
Same time, Lewis is closed as well.
I know. It's a bummer.
Okay, next item. City of Centralia to fill in Pearl Street pool to avoid liability.
No.
The city council decided not to put a measure out to the voters about the pool, which seems like it's been done before.
Not that I recall, but this was the night of the Centralia levy failure that they decided they weren't going to go then.
Really sneaking it in there, weren't they?
Yeah. Well, no, they didn't sneak it in there.
Instead, workers started filling it in with dirt to avoid what city manager Rob Hill called an attractive nuisance liability. Attractive nuisance sounds like something James Bond would call a stewardess in the 60s. Hill said, a vacant pool is the definition of an attractive nuisance, which by law is not a good thing, he said. So we absolutely cannot continue to have that liability sitting there just waiting for an incident to happen. I think we're very fortunate we didn't have one in the last 12 years.
Can somebody explain to me what this means? Because I did not understand it when I was reading it.
It's fairly simple. If the city has property and somebody just a flat piece of grass, somebody walks on it and like skins their knee, but there's nothing like drawing them there, they're probably not going to be liable. But if you have something that a child would look at, which I thought, look at that pool, it'd be really cool to climb down in there, maybe skateboard into it, or
maybe, stand on the diving board, smoke some cigarettes. I don't know. Burn a J down in the pit. I don't know. Man. I don't know what kids are doing these days. And they get hurt. A bottle of your mom's rosé and head down there.
If they get hurt in doing that, then there's, I guess, case law that if you've made this attractive, dangerous thing, then you can be liable for it.
Oh, boy. Talk more about these attractive, dangerous things.
It's a hot pool, son.
Anyway, the exception allows child trespassers or their parents to sue property owners for injuries caused by an unsafe object, as long as the object, quote, attracted the child onto the property. There's a shitty grooming joke in there somewhere, but I'm having trouble climbing the fence to get to it.
Oh, you're so good.
Originally built in the 1950s as a war memorial, the pool was owned and operated by the city until the early 80s when it was first closed and briefly turned into an Orange Julius. In 1984,
that's not true.
40 years ago, it was reopened due to the efforts of Friends in Need, a local nonprofit that operated the pool until 2008, when the city resumed ownership until 2011, when it closed the pool again. Just to be clear, a nonprofit organization kept it open and operating for 24 years, and the city lasted 3. Where will the children, who weren't yet born the last time this pool was open, swim? Why don't you tell me that? Where are they going to find any pool within driving distance or body of water?
So you're an elitist on the pool as well. Might as well be one of those shameless people. It's like, come pay for our pool, We don't want to go over there.
Right down
we want to swim in our pool, Aaron, our pool.
Yeah, I don't like it. Hasn't been there in forever,
Understandable.
I think like many have said, the maintenance of this place is so extravagant for something that couldn't be open for very long. But if they had at any point put a roof over the pool, they might have been able to keep it open. And I feel like they could have talked to the roof doctor for that.
Wow. Good segue.
I got news for you guys on that front. I just went to theroofdoctor.com, as I do once or twice a day, to check the reviews.
Of course.
And if you guys go there right now, I think you'll find a brand spanking new website. And this is going to be a real time waster for a lot of people because this thing is attractive. You can get your free estimate right up at the top. As you scroll down the page,
This looks great.
Wow.
you'll get a comprehensive list of the
The guy on the
services
ladder
they
moves a
provide.
little bit as you scroll. Maybe that's just
Talk
look
about
at
an
that.
attractive nuisance.
It's
Wow.
People are going to get harmed on a family practice since 1959 with a nice old black and white photo. Roof Doctor owned and operated by the Slater family. Quote, we've been keeping a roof over Western Washington's head for over 60 years. And then there's an About Us section. It's lovely.
Yeah, looks great.
But where are the reviews?
We got to save something for next time.
Okay.
Visit theroofdoctor.com or call them up at 360-352-1294.
I also found the reviews. They're scrolling along at the bottom above or below a graphic that says, our satisfied customers are shouting it from the rooftops.
Nice.
Next news item. Centralia Public Works releases 2022 water quality report. The verdict is in. Drink up. The city tested for lead, arsenic, copper, radium-228, nitrate, total trihalomethanes,
Nailed it.
and halioacidic acids, and more than 100 contaminants. The water did not exceed any state or federal contamination limits. What do you think about that? We may not have a pool, but you can drink the water. Drink the bath water, baby. So,
Love to see it.
yeah, it's great news.
I mean, Isabel tested the water in China Creek, and this is going to shock you, but the same cannot be said for
It's
China
easy
Creek.
to get
What was
lost in
that?
investment
What is
research.
this?
What's going on here?
Sorry, I had a clip ready to go.
Jackwagon?
Yeah. Oh, did I interrupt you talking about the water?
I did get one of
The
those.
number of podcasts you've ruined. What is this, 146? 146
Say
of them.
goodbye to your SPJ.
They were never going to give
This
me
is
one
why
anyway.
they didn't take us seriously.
Probably.
They heard the ding, and they were like, oh, LOL.
This dipshit's got mail.
Go back to KUOW.
Anyway, next item. City of Tenino installs pump tracks at the city park. This is like skate park thing. Mm-hmm. And the clip I had was going to be the 30 Rock clip of Steve Buscemi going, how do you do, fellow kids?
Oh.
It's kind of been played
Well,
out.
you know,
but,
it's too late now.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it was going to be Wayne doing that was my joke.
The best thing that came out of this for me, which I think it's an awesome project, was Wayne Fournier making a meme of Isabel's lead. I don't know if you saw that. Not a meme. He just did one of those text-only things, and he took your first graph and put it in there.
Oh, I
and
thought
just
it was Emily. It's
posted it
Emily's
as a
story.
standalone. Oh, it's Emily's story. I'm sorry. Wayne made Emily's story lead a meme, which I
Okay.
just thought was weird.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that's
Wayne, if you're listening. You should have thrown a link on that.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, yeah, Tenino has a skate park with some stuff in it now.
It's not a skate park. It's a pump track. Completely different. Do you even see the photos?
I did, and I didn't know what they were.
There's going to be a beginner and intermediate. The idea is you can get rolling, and once you get rolling, there's not a whole lot of pedaling that goes on. You're just using gravity, and you're pumping. You're moving.
I see.
The beginner one is just like a straight line with some humps in it, and then the intermediate is a circular one with some more upsy doozies and whatnot. And then there's going to be a kind of higher experience level one as well. So.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Oh, I see what they got going on here. All right, cool.
Yep.
Neat. You guys want to talk about the Nazis now?
Sure.
I'm pasting the link in here since it didn't get in the notes. So if
It was not live yet when I made the notes.
fine. There you go.
Anyway, there were some Nazis in town. Fuck those guys. They interrupted a pride parade and also went, not pride parade, just a demonstration, right?
No, Pride event.
Pride
It was a
event, yeah.
celebration. It was Pride Month. They were down in the Pine Street Plaza. I think this is the second year they've done this, or the third.
Done the pride event, not the
Yeah.
Nazis.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, they had a celebration downtown. It was colorful, looked pretty cheerful, looked nice. The Nazis showed up to try to ruin things, and then they couldn't even take Pine Street, so they went to Chehalis to, I don't know,
We got
down there and offend people.
our fine CEO sent along some pictures of them in their khaki pants and matching shirts, just lounging on some grass. I saw a picture of them doing a Heil Hitler thing out in front of the pub market, which I know was not friendly to them. I don't think
no.
anybody was friendly to them.
I hope not.
Yeah, which is great, but I don't know. I don't say this for any like catharsis or to feel better or to like make them feel bad, but I think when I was younger, I'd get angry when I see people like that, but now I just kind of chuckle. It's very pathetic. Like the one thing that you've decided to wrap your identity in is the one thing you were born with. You didn't earn it. You didn't like learn a skill. You're just like, oh, I was born a white guy, so I'm gonna form a club.
What really
it's pathetic.
blows
It's
my
very
mind
pathetic.
is it's like, let's see, who's the worst person in history? I'm just going to make my whole thing whatever that guy's thing was. It's like so baffling and so anti every other person most of the time. Like, it's just very against what I think makes humans good and interesting.
It's a severe lack of intelligence for one, but I think it's just maybe they just couldn't find acceptance anywhere else. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, one of these guys literally stabbed an interracial couple in 2018. I'm not sure why he's not still in prison.
Yeah.
In one way, I'm thankful. I mean, we've dealt with this ilk before, where they want to dance around and be like, "Oh no, we're Christian nationalists," or "We're white nationalists. We're not white supremacists." And I mean, these guys are clearly white supremacists. So. I hope they don't come back. But if they do, I hope they're met with the same rude welcome that they got this time. It sounded like every business that they encountered pretty much treated them the same way, which is to say, get the hell out of here.
And likewise, there were a couple of statements that were made in the last few days by local politicians or local elected officials, and then also we'll be like paying attention to city council meetings to see if anybody else says that. But I know at least one Chehalis city councilor, two county commissioners had said something about it. And then the Lewis County Republicans chair was like, we don't vibe with that. And like, I think getting the spectrum of different local perspectives that often will disagree, but they are united in the front that like, we don't think Nazis are cool is like, it's obvious, but it's also good. You know, it's also good to have that because I think that it is a reminder that these things just should not be accepted no matter what. And it's not just like about, oh, let's accept all different beliefs. Like, no, we're not going to accept hate, especially when it has like violent undertones. It's not good.
Yeah, Sean Swope has a commentary on it as well. That kind of speaks to your point, because I think some people would think that things he said in the past are hurtful. He's to the right guy. He's Republican. It's helpful to have him come out and say in no uncertain terms that these people are not welcome here, which I believe is the title of his commentary. Mm-hmm. Not everybody is welcome in Lewis County.
On a side note, can you imagine taking a whole Saturday in June, getting your boys together, going to a pride event just to prove how totally not gay you are? Just to let everybody know where you stand on the issue. I'm guessing there weren't a lot of wives or girlfriends rescheduling their Saturdays around this little demonstration.
I went into this
drift accepted.
I went into this group's Telegram to look through some of the stuff.
Christ, of course it was on Telegram.
Yeah, that they were posting, which was partially related to this stuff, and then I think they're associated with a couple of other groups that are nationwide. But one of the posts in there was like, white boy summer, like you had all the other ones, right? Like I just, it's so ridiculous. Oh, like it's literally that. It's literally that they're just so proud of being white men. I just can't fathom.
Yeah.
We're not proud.
No. You're ashamed boys?
I awake in a blanket of shame almost every morning. So
yeah.
There's no worries there.
I just can't imagine being that threatened by like a pride demonstration. Like,
I don't think they were threatened by it. I think they were picking what they considered to be a soft target where they could go stand outside. I mean, you see the photos. There's women and children and like seriously, it's embarrassing the target that they've chosen. I don't know. Maybe they could go to Seattle. There's a large pride event there. I don't think that maybe they'd see a little violence in return. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Worried about getting punched.
The Battle of the Pine Street Plaza was won by the Dignity Guild. That's for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, Lewis County Animal Shelter to hold emergency dog adoption event is our next headline. The special event with reduced adoption fees runs through Saturday. The shelter's open from 9 a.m. to 5:30 each day. Adult dogs, 50% off. It's just $100.
I think this is past.
No, I thought this goes through
June
Saturday.
13th to 17th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Sorry.
June 13th through 17th, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.
Nice.
and then they're closed June the 11th and Monday the 12th.
You gonna
Which
get
have
Ralph
already
a pal?
passed.
Right, that's what I
No, Ralph is territorial. Actually, he's not. He's just very indifferent to other dogs.
My two favorite dogs from the screenshot, no one asked, but it's definitely Stitch and Anna, the husky. But Stitch's face, I could just tell that me and that dog would get along really well.
Oh, that's
He's
a
so
sad-looking dog.
earnest.
Yeah, there's a lot going on behind those eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
I like. I'm a tuner fan.
You're more of a Karen guy.
Tuner's kind of a dopey-looking dog.
Who names their dog Karen?
I really like Maxie, and I think that I would like make my whole identity being about like my house being Maxie's pad.
Oh, that's great.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Shout out to Suki.
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out to all the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the goal is to encourage the public to adopt these dogs that have been living at the shelter for an extended period of time. They got some real cuties. Get in there and get 1 or 2 or 3, you know. Go get yourself a used dog. All on a budget.
You think there's like a animal shelter worker that like slaps the side on one of them? This one's only got 3 years on it.
Yeah.
Runs like a dream.
That's how I got Ralph. He was a used dog, you know. Somebody returned him because he was defective.
That is a defective dog, I can
He is a
attest.
defective
Yeah.
dog.
Many defections.
Anyway, next up, detectives report says potential tampering, quote, absolutely false in Buzzo Aaron Christensen investigation.
Oh God, was that within this last week?
It's in the news cycle, sure.
Yeah. The sheriff's office says they absolutely didn't do the thing people are upset about them doing, and the investigation to prove they didn't do it is ongoing.
I was actually glad to see they have apparently asked another agency to look into it. So this is more of just saying the statement from the detective who would have is potentially involved in this claim. I thought there was important background to this story. I thought it was really weird that seemingly myself, the detective, and Brandy Faye, the veterinarian, all independently reached out to this same doctor in Texas, like randomly. Like, I thought that was very odd. But I think there's important information if you're following this very closely. If you are following it from a 10,000-foot view, it's probably nothing like that's going to change the whole scale of the story. But I think that it's probably good to get this guy's perspective in there, and he did some more research that was interesting.
All right. Next up, former Lewis County employee gets 9 years in prison for theft. Jennifer Teitzel, 53, of Chehalis. This is not the other Jennifer Teitzel.
This is not the Toledo Jennifer Teitzel.
She remains at large?
She remains free and not accused of
Not
any
accused
crimes.
of anything. Good.
Yeah.
Was accused of stealing over $10,000 from the Lewis County Corrections Bureau while she worked there. She pleaded guilty to 54 separate felony charges, 1 count of first-degree theft, and 53 counts of first-degree identity theft for creating false refunds for prior jail inmates and issuing the refunds to stolen debit cards she created using stolen names. God, what a process. Sounds complicated. And isn't she somehow involved in one of the county lawsuits, like the animal shelter one?
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a
she's
$4
the
million
source of it.
lawsuit.
Okay.
I
was surprised. 9 years, that seems like a lot.
know. I was going to say the same thing. I was very surprised. That's a long time, especially for. I'm not saying like that. I know how this stuff normally goes, but I felt like for the scale between the amount of time in prison and the money that was stolen, it seemed pretty harsh. But
Yeah.
maybe not. I don't know. Emily, when she came back from the sentencing hearing, was like, yeah, it actually could have been a lot worse because there were this many counts and they didn't make them consecutive or whatever. She had a way of explaining it that I hadn't thought about. So,
Well, I hope she put that way in the story. I'm sure she did.
I thought it seemed harsh as well. I'm obviously no expert whatsoever, but you see some of the crimes that go through there, 9 years, assuming she serves those 9 years, would, if my math is correct, be longer than a Nazi got for stabbing an interracial couple in Olympia.
Yeah.
So
It would seem like it.
I'm assuming she won't end up serving all of that time. She was also ready to reimburse the money as well, but my assumption is that it's important to the prosecutor's office to send a message, perhaps, that county employees that do wrong will be punished severely.
Yeah,
And,
maybe.
I think people hold it to a higher standard if, for instance, she had gotten like a, 1 year suspended sentence or something like that, which is what I kind of expected in reimbursement. There would have been maybe some outcry from the public, like, oh, she's getting a deal because she's a, she's a,
yeah, I could understand
good old gal.
that.
Yeah.
I could understand that. I think like in our in our normal person brains who aren't like involved in the way the justice system works, like it's the way that you look at like years spent in prison is sort of directly tied to like who is harmed, and a lot of like the actual precedent in the law for sentencing is not at all based on that sort of thing. So it can be frustrating without like hearing a lot of the explanations why this stuff ends up this way, especially when it's like this person that a lot of people know and probably love.
You
I don't
read
know
about
her,
like county and city governments, some in Washington. I don't name a name specifically, but there are like fraudulent governments where people are making money off the people, and maybe it's a slippery slide, and this was just a way of preventing that.
Yeah, maybe.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Jasek from Summit Funding. Here's what a recent client is saying about us.
Hi, this is Chad Taylor. Have you been thinking about purchasing or refinancing your current home? The team at Summit Funding is the best in class. Looking for a conventional FHA, VA, USDA, jumbo, or even a reverse mortgage? Trust the team at Summit Funding. Coralie and I did, and we couldn't be happier.
Thank you to all of our past clients. If you have any questions, give us a call at 360-330-4037.
All right, we're back. It's time for segments. First up, Tales from the Takes page. And we have a letter to the editor titled Concern Over Hub City Loves Banner. And you could sum this letter up by saying, I don't feel loved by this group of people I hate.
I don't think that's fair. I don't know. I've come up in a family where there are members of my family that disagree with gay people. They just do, and it's a biblically based thing. It's not something I ascribe to, but I don't think that this person writing this letter had hate in his heart. I think his thing was that it should include everyone. I don't know. I don't want to accuse someone of being hateful for having that stance, because then you're probably accusing a good chunk of Lewis County of being hateful. He went out of his way to say, I don't think anyone should be treated poorly. I think that they should have their ability to do what they want to do. I want this banner to be more inclusive of everyone all at once, which I agree is a very difficult thing to do. And we do celebrate various days throughout the year, and it is Pride Month. So it's not my opinion. I just don't think that it was hateful.
I feel like just my personal opinion about this, and then this guy's like, or even like kind of the opinion of what the sign is there for, and then this letter writer's opinion are just like two steps away from one another. Like, I think that if you were to be like, I'm upset by this inclusivity, and then maybe realize like that is a long-standing thing that lots of people would be upset by, like Pride, then you might actually understand exactly why the banner's there. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of a little bit more self-reflection, and I feel like we could all do with that, but that's just my take on it.
I also wonder what the response would be, and it's not, I know that they're two different things, but if there was a cross and it said Centralia accepts everyone, and it's, reflective of the Christian population, which there's a large Christian population, I think there would be people there. Obviously, it's the downtown association, it's not the government, so they could do that. It's not a separation of church and state thing. But I think you might get a letter to the editor then that says, I think that, concern over Christian banner downtown. That's kind of the category I would put it in. But regardless of all that, there is a follow-up to that from the Downtown Association, I believe, Centralia Downtown Association President Rebecca Stabler and Executive Director Mackenzie McGee responded to it. If anyone's interested, that's at the opinion tab on cronline.com.
I understand what you are saying, but I also think like it's probably worth like thinking about the number of Christian symbols and signs and everything that already are present in Lewis County that maybe like aren't as overt as putting something hanging in the middle of the street or whatever. But I think like there are so many more of those kinds of things that you can see on a day-to-day basis anyways.
No, I mean, I probably have the same opinion as both of you on it, which is it's great, it's fine. I like that people can celebrate who they are, no matter who that is, as long as they're not
Nazis.
affecting anyone else or Nazis.
You're being compassionate.
I'm trying to
I
be
get it.
reflective because I know a lot of good, loving people who would have this opinion, and they would never go to the step of writing a letter to the editor. But I don't think that they have hate in their hearts.
I understand what you're saying.
Can we talk about John McCroskey's column? Speaking of hate in their
I'm
hearts.
just gonna let you go on this one and just stay out of it.
McCroskey's column is titled "Schools, Companies Can Support What They Want, so can residents and consumers." Even for McCroskey, this is just utter nonsense, and most of it is just factually untrue. He makes a statement that bomb threats were called into Target for making the Pride display smaller. Buddy, that's not who called in the bomb threats. He also mentioned school-sponsored drag shows. I encourage you to name just one of those that has ever happened anywhere. And then he writes, and if you can believe the news these days, this kind of perversion hasn't satisfied those targeting children yet. Actually, no, I can't believe the news because you just made it up, John. None of this is real. Go outside. End rant. Moving on to Siren's Banger of the Week.
I'm back. Stepped away.
While you were making a drink. Well, you heard
I'm sure
that.
you were very just balanced in your approach.
I sure was.
I bet you if you Googled those things, they probably happened somewhere in some
Oh,
capacity.
yeah, sure. If you just use the Google machine and search history, I want to have happened.
Encourage
It'll
residents
show up.
to search. Well, go on. I'll get back
Siren's
to it.
Banger of the Week. The sheriff's office worked a civil dispute on June 8th, where they learned that a Kelso man named Todd Dodge was involved in the dispute and was under the influence of alcohol. From the story, quote, officers warned Mr. Dodge not to drive while under the influence and advised him he would be arrested if he did, according to the Centralia Police Department, who also responded. A short time later, officers observed Dodge attempt to depart in his vehicle. He was arrested and booked into jail for a DUI. Just imagine the conversation. Don't drive, pal. Think I'm going to drive. You better not. Damn it, Todd.
Oh, this is a true Siren's Banger.
That one was good. I like the one in today's paper, too, though. There was a guy, I think, on a bar in South Tower Avenue. We'll never know which bar it was. But someone called to report that he was punched in the face for no reason and wanted the cops down there. And the cops got down there, and it turns out he had poured a beer on the guy's head and then got punched in the face. So as the officers are investigating, the guy who reported it just cautiously did the Homer into the lawn, like backwards meme, and disappeared from the scene.
Oh, it's a true phantom puncher situation, if
It
you
must
will.
have been a good punch for him to think like his recourse was to call the cops, even though he started it.
Oh, Todd Dodge is really funny.
Don't go anywhere.
I'm gonna do it.
It's like funny from the start. It's just a good name, and the whole thing is good.
People's Champion of the Week. Graduates, one option.
Who was the best graduate photo you saw, Isabel? I'm going to take the easy one. I liked the Rochester kid disrobing and flexing on stage
Yeah.
as he got his diploma.
That was really good. I don't know. I love a good hugging photo. There were a lot of really good ones from that, from all over. I was really proud of one of the shots I took of Brooklyn Sandridge giving a speech. Just like, feel like it caught the whole moment in one. And then there were really good ones, both from Alec and Josh, that were like nice action, people high-fiving and hugging, very sports photographer-esque. And then trying to think of some of the, there was one that Emily turned in from PL where they were like playing these like fake instruments.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I thought that was really fun. So I loved all of them. I can't pick.
The silly string chaos is always fun too.
Of
That
course.
was the main photo from
Is that
Jared.
Centralia?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Centralia and Chehalis.
We didn't get the shots from Chehalis this year, but we've got them in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But Centralia's is just it's a fun photo to look at, just because there's a lot going on, like at every layer of the photo.
Yeah.
So, it's good stuff.
The other nominee, Wolverines.
Oh yeah,
Joni.
Joni had
The
triplets.
Cascades
You guys.
Carnivore Project.
Eric and I constantly fangirl over Joni.
Wolverine Joni, living in Mount Rainier National Park and the surrounding areas, has birthed kits for the 4th year in a row, and it was triplets.
Woo.
Well, Joni's back's just getting sore from carrying the species on her back.
Yep. Facebook comments of the week. Oh, who's our champion? Graduates or Joni?
Joni.
All right.
So it was always Joni.
Okay. Facebook comments of the week. On the Tenino Park deal, one of the comments just says, Janelle, let's get scooters and hurt ourselves this summer. There was also a story on the Pearl Street pool where somebody said, here, tried to fix it for you. Consider it a Facebook fact check. Then they rewrote the story in 3 paragraphs. Headline, City of Centralia to fill in Pearl Street pool to avoid responsibility.
That's a good one. I mean, just for the sheer effort, I appreciate it.
They went at the second paragraph. They do a fake Rob Hill quote. A vacant pool is a definition of an attractive alternative for summer, which by law is not a good thing for our embezzlement. So we absolutely cannot continue to have that financial burden sitting there just waiting for an investigation to happen. I think we're very fortunate we didn't have one in the last 12 years. They put a lot of work into it.
Also, there's zero factual basis for
yes.
any of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the embezzlement deal is. Like, how could they possibly make money off of an empty pool?
Where are they embezzling money at?
Step 1, close pool. Step 2, profit.
Yeah. On some graduation pictures, this commenter says, that was me 57 years ago, class of 1966. And I just want to say, what a unique experience. Thank you, sir.
Why you gotta be so cynical?
Hey,
This person enjoyed the photos. He got a little nostalgic, and you just want to come over there and just take a crap on him.
Yeah.
Let's get Isabel do these things again. Let's have somebody do it that doesn't hate life and holidays and all things good.
On the Centralia Loves All banner story letter, this commenter wrote straight pride signs, but he spelled it Strait. So the next commenter said, Bering and Gibraltar agree. Straits for pride. All bodies of water matter. And then the next commenter said, Juan de Fuca and Deception Pass are sorely underrepresented, though Deception Pass does sound kind of gay. Also, can we change Juan de Fuca to John de Fuca? It sounds better, more white. Oops, I mean more right. All straights matter. And then another commenter says, George Strait sucks.
Oh.
Hard disagree.
Didn't
George
have to do that.
George Strait is phenomenal.
You're right on that.
He took it too far.
Yeah.
And I'm going to skip the last comment. Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this one up. I just added a link in. Where is it? Oh, so there is a history photo of 3 girls eating strawberries at a strawberry farm in 1959. This commenter says, thanks to the Democrats, these family farms were put out of business. Property taxes and labor laws made it unprofitable. Those damn labor laws, we can't get those 11-year-olds out there picking strawberries anymore.
I don't know. That's kind of like a warm, nostalgic memory for a lot of people. Picking strawberries, making a little money on the side.
Not for this commenter.
Well, the Democrats ruined it.
Yeah, what's in the next edition?
Uh,
Just had one today.
We just had one today, and I think we touched on most of the high points. My favorite being the 100-year-old. I always love those. 100th birthday announcement. Happy birthday to Grace G. Bourne. We're going to have a 90th birthday announcement, not to give too much away, but in Saturday's paper. You have that to look forward to.
Nice.
Aaron, this is news that'll be near and dear to you. Swimmer's itch reported at lakes in Thurston County. I've seen you scratching away at those inner thighs.
Yeah, it was a dicey dip I took the other day.
I would say so. There's going to be a ribbon cutting for the Willapa Hills Trail Bridge, which people are going to hate in the comments.
Did we already discuss on mic that Nightcrawler tripped and fell and hurt himself?
Yeah, we did.
On the bridge? Okay.
Yeah, he got beat to shit that day.
It was the first
That
one
week.
Broke it in, yes.
that we know of.
Big news. Winlock Egg Days is this weekend, as is Swede Day. Which one are you going to, Aaron?
I'm so glad.
Oh, boy.
I'm so glad that when I came in, this was already being handled, because it's literally the first thing I thought of when I woke up this morning.
Oh, me too. That's why I jumped on it as soon as I got
Thank you
in.
so much, because I woke up this morning and I was like, oh my God, we haven't done something on Egg Days yet. But you did it.
It's in there now. And Swede Day. Caller let us know that I inadvertently called the Grand Marshal's daughter his wife in the story, so apologies for that. It has been fixed. It was a press release issue. I don't want to throw any Rochester citizen groups under the bus or anything.
Don't want to throw any Swede shade, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. And then, I don't know, there's 200,000 fentanyl pills seized by Centralia police. That was kind of a big one.
That's a lot.
Yep.
Like I said, the story on the local officials' reactions to the neo-Nazi group at Pride.
Yes.
And then I am working on at least one other story. So
There's a good story in today's paper, too, that we didn't talk about. We did talk about Pete Crabe last week, but Isabel talked to some of his family, and there's a nice story in on him. And then fire out in Cinnabar, was it? Woman arrested for arson.
Oh, yeah.
There was fear because we had a caller say, because the woman was sounded like a mental crisis, and it allegedly set her house on fire, rammed the fire truck as it pulled in. But the rumor was that her kids were in the house because she was saying some things to that effect. And thankfully, the sheriff's office reported this morning that they were found safe at another residence. So she is in jail, and we'll have an update on that tonight at cronline.com.
there are so many things that, like, working in this newsroom has, like, it gives me more things to be anxious about all the time. Like, I went to bed last night being like, oh God, I hope those children are okay. And then it's just like wasn't a problem. You know what I mean? Like that happens a lot working here, because like somebody will say something and then you find it to be less bad than what the tip came in as. And it's like, you just have to worry about 10 times as many things.
Yeah, it's true.
Anything else?
No.